aspect of social well-being is the ability to make and build and retain relationship with self and with the others of diverse age groups and diverse communities. That's also what you call the extraordinary level of being well, because you're comfortable in your skin, that you can put yourself out in the world to connect with and relate with. So in this context, the social media is and can be viewed as a very powerful tool, an amazing tool to connect with people you know, who are near you, who are far away from you, and people who are not known to you, but who has similar interest and similar background, similar approach to life. And the third is that you connect with people that whom you look up to, who inspire you, who can guide you, and who can show the way. So it's a kind of a nice spectrum of being most familiar and being connected with most unfamiliar. So I think the social media gives you that option, the possibilities. That platform is so vibrant and so rich and so deeper in terms of an ocean-like dive. And I think the social well-being is about navigating this known to unknown in a way that you don't lose yourself. So that's the dynamic between the social media and the social well-being, that you are in touch with the reality while you are also in touch with what you call the virtual reality.
Welcome to the Learning Circle, the ultimate video podcast for educators and parents who want to unleash the full potential of children. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of learning with the help of thought leaders who will share their knowledge and stories with us. This is your host Kavleen Kaur, and I'm excited to take you on this journey. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and entertained. In our exclusive interview with Dr. Lakshmi Kumar, we delve into the core of social well-being in times of social media preoccupation. Discover the importance of social well-being for students and its connection to their overall well-being. Dr. Kumar shares insights on the crucial role of schools and the significance of parental guidance in setting boundaries. Plus, don't miss out on Dr. Kumar's invaluable advice for students. And request you all to subscribe to our channel, The Learning Circle. Your support powers us to invite thought leaders and raise important conversations in education. Join us and be part of the change today. Please subscribe. But for our students, if I would request you to share in brief your advice for them regarding social media and for life in general, what that would be.
I think one is young people know what is appropriate and inappropriate. So I think they need to listen to their own self, and not to give in to, peer pressure, so to say, in order to compromise your own moral values. Because a lot of time it's that peer pressure that you want to prove you're someone else than you. So you start falling in your own eyes. I think that's the first. What's your alignment of your belief and your behavior? I think that's the first one for students. I'm specifically talking to young people who today can discern, your inner voice says it, that this is not okay. The second one is, I think, to view caregiving adults as your support mechanisms and not as your enemies. Because you fall down, it's the family that's going to come up and help you stand up. So if you can build this trusting relationship that whenever you're in trouble, you reach out to one trusting adult, not to another peer. I think that's very important because adults have a grain of wisdom that's better than you, and that they eventually care for your well-being. So I think this is the second one, and we have seen it when the children have gone home and spoken to the adult. I think they know that in the moment of anger also, they know that adult appreciates that, and that there is a solution in its way. Third one is to kind of know what is a legal responsibilities too. What's a citizenry responsibility? You're not an individual in this world. And social media, you're not an individual. You're part of a community. And you're being watched. You're being followed. You're being trolled. You're being, tiptoed on. So to think that, to kind of get rid of your naivety, that, what if I post this? Who will care? And but like I said, there are 1,000 eyes watching everything that you post. But to be very sure that it is not some kind of misplaced self-grandeur. 1,000 eyes are watching, not because I'm a grand person, but because there is always a danger lurking. So I think that's a third one, to know, to be a responsible, digital citizen. Okay, because kids don't realize that what you put in the digital media, social media, cannot be erased. It's there forever. You can delete it from your account, but it doesn't go away. It's a kind of a permanent script on your CV. And today, big companies don't want your CV to be written. All they do, forget big companies, whether it is applying for a admission, visa, any responsible assignments, or for a job, you can be accessed via your digital, media platform that you've been engaging with. The content that you've been consuming and the content that you have been sharing, you can be tracked. So you need to realize that the digital footprints that you leave have to be clean and crisp. You can't walk back in history and erase it. You can't undo the past, but you have still the opportunity to kind of carve the future. So I think the students need to understand that they have it in their fingertips, the responsibility.
That's a very, very powerful message. You have acknowledged the ability of the children to discern the wrong information, but also, said that adults have that grain of wisdom, which may be slightly more than the kids. So they should always
Yes.
go back to their parents. So that's a very, very powerful message, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. I do encourage all parents to make their child listen to at least this section of what ma'am has shared with us. And ma'am, coming to your...
Basically, if he has to see it, it's not a tug of war.
Right.
It's not us versus them anymore. That, is then we're losing the plot. We have to be on our children's side. They are vulnerable, but they are also capable. So I think this, let's just drop the rope on the other side and join on our child's side.
Right. Yes, indeed. I'll encourage everybody to keep this in mind. It's not a tug of war, right? And ma'am, what, if you talk about your personal journey, what drives you as an educationist? I see a lot of passion in you for children's well-being and their growth. What drives
They're my future. They're our future. Right? I mean, my life depends on them. Let's say I have another 30 years. I want to live in a peaceful, harmonious, healthy, green environment. And if I don't invest in them, I won't be able to reap the, as strange as it sounds. I think if we want a collective well-being, we must invest in people and we must invest in future. And I think education is such a wonderful opportunity to engage with minds, engage with the hearts, engage with the, thought processes. So I think I'm in the best profession.
Yes, and I can see the pride in your smile and your eyes. And you also have a lot of experience working with the international education sector. Are there any
Yes.
best practices? There every country has some best practices. So, is there anything in particular that you would want us, our Indian education system, the parents, the educationists, to adopt?
So I work a lot with Sweden and especially higher secondary and higher education sector. I think what really stands out is their connection with people, their connection with students. Their relationships are based on respect, non-judgment, and warmth, and least on authority. I often tell my teachers when I take them on exchange program, don't look at the infrastructure and say, but hamare paas ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. Don't look at the number of people. Oh, they have only 20 students in the classroom. We could have done miracles. Or, don't look at the weather that has snow. Everything can look very, very fancy from here. But I tell them, just look at the way they connect with students. The most important defining thing is very low power distance, more informal, and also very trusting. And they go out of their way to reach out. And I think we need to learn that. I think we feel so self-important on 2 days, Guru Purnima Day and 5th of September. We are the divine force and we are the gurus equivalent to the divinity. But we know that the total well-being of our student is not always a central focus. It is when everything is convenient for me, then it is. So I think if we have to really borrow the best practices, it is this of how do we connect with people? How do we connect with young people? And constantly engaging with them in a very trusting conversation and a respectful conversation and non-judgmental. Because the young people will come with the streaked hair and pierced bodies and tattooed, faces and arms, and clothes that are not very much my idea of what it should be, families that are going to look very fragmented and fractured, and a whole lot of social problems in which our young people are thriving. So I think they deserve compassion, they deserve respect, they deserve wholehearted acceptance. And I see that. I see when I look at my colleagues in Sweden, the teachers engaging with someone like, who's just come from Afghanistan as a refugee, just lost all the families and came through to survive and doesn't know the language, but has that will to survive and thrive. I see the teachers seeing that spark and saying, never mind, we'll rebuild it for you. I think teachers are hope. Teachers are beacons of hope and icons of hope. And but if we get so caught up with our framework of who is a good student, who is a smart student, but rather than saying that who is my student, all my students are good, all my students are smart, all my students are A, they are capable of scoring A, and all my students are capable of and have the potential to become amazing citizens of the world. It's that focus that we need to bring back in our education.
Right, that's a very powerful message. And I think our discussion has come a full circle. We started with the definition of social well being, where you shared that the ability to form connections with the self, with others, is part of social well being. And, we are ending with this is what the education system should imbibe, help children build a relationship with the students first, and then help them build, similar relationship with self and others. So that's the key to social well-being. That's the key to good education.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Thank you for sharing these important pieces of wisdom. We have had, such powerful messages for students, for parents, and also for educationists. And
Yes.
we started with this topic of social well-being with social media, in times of social media preoccupation, but we have covered, the whole spectrum of parenting and the essence of education. So, we have
So, for me, school is also a space of welcoming, students as they are, rather than picking and selecting, and, working with the 90 percenters or from good families. School is not a space for such discrimination. School is a space of, equity. School is a space that is about inclusion, and school is a space for healing while education is happening. I think that's where we can play such an important role. And schools are not about 9 to 5 or 9 to 3 and the timetables and the textbooks and the assessments. Schools are about enhancing and enriching the living souls of our students. In our traditional sense, we said school is a temple, and the temple of, building future is what we are engaged in. So I think all we need to do is, with absolute humility and sincerity and integrity, we should serve this profession.
Wonderful. And I think at your school, the Orchid School, this is the message that you give to your teachers, that this is the way they have to
Yes.
proceed.
We do slip sometimes. We do slip in our gender narratives. We kind of, sometimes have the vicarious pleasure when a child is caught copying. But we constantly remind ourselves that, we are not a detention center. We are not a probationary school. We are a school that builds self-esteem, builds self-confidence, so that our children don't have to seek, endorsement in a very sleazy way. So I think we have the magic hat of making young people feel, driven, and that they are the agent of their life. So we constantly say that, how am I the tool for that change, the transformation?
Right. Wonderful, wonderful, ma'am. We may slip, but if the purpose is clear that we are the tool for transformation, then we are on the right track.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for sharing this, ma'am. Really sincere thanks for coming on our channel and sharing this with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would encourage all parents and educationists to do listen to this episode, so that you can get these various nuances of multiple aspects of parenting and teaching. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you, Kaur.